Hey, I'm Vernon Felton, Senior Editor at Bike Magazine. We're in Central Oregon at Bike's 2015 Bible Bike Test. We're coming to you tonight from the Crow's Feet Commons, and we're talking about Diamondback's new Mission 2. For 2015, Diamondback has actually redesigned the Mission. It accepts 650B wheels now, and they also wanted to make the bike a little bit stiffer and give it a little bit more travel. So it went up from 150 millimeters of travel to 160, and of course in American that means 6 inches and change. The real question, of course, is it better? You guys have ridden the Mission before. Is it better, and how does it compare to other all-mountain bikes?
So they spec'd it with Fox 34.
Yes, they did.
A lot of all-mountain bikes have 35, 36 millimeter stanchion forks, so it's a little bit lighter duty. That being said, it somehow felt appropriate because the bike climbed really well. I mean, the fact that they didn't put a fork that was for raucous shuttle lift assisted downhill kind of all mountain riding. Like, this is something that you can get on and climb all day with if you'd like to.
Now
I was
going to say, you say that.
There was a caveat here.
It's a 32 single ring setup, but it's not a 1x11.
It's a 1x10.
It's a 1x10, 1136. So
you got to be strong to push this thing up a hill.
Well,
yeah.
It's funny because, like, I mean, there are a lot of people out there that can pedal that gear, right?
yeah, sure.
There's also a lot of people who can't. There's also a lot of people, I mean, I don't want to say can't, because you kind of just accept whatever gear you're given, right? You're just like, all right, it's kind of the single speed attitude.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a hard gear. I mean, I walked sections today on this bike that I rode on all the other bikes. And just because my leg got tired, I think that one by is really hot right now. And maybe they were getting pressure to put a 1x on the bike, but it couldn't fit into this price point, so they went with this system, which seems like a cop-out. I mean, I like the 1x stuff, but if you can't meet that price point, let's just go ahead and put
I'm not
a front
really
trailer on it.
considering a 1x10 a real 1x. I think a 1x needs to be a 1x11. It gives you a bit more low range, don't you think?
Well, 1x for the masses absolutely needs to be a 1x11 with that 42 tooth
yeah.
cog in the back. I mean, there are people who are really strong who are going to be laughing, going, I've been running a 32 or 34 with a 1136 my whole life, and you're sissies. And yeah, I guess they say that, but this is a fair bit of bike still.
Yeah, it's a pretty hefty bike, and I mean, although it does climb pretty efficiently, which was surprising. I didn't think it was the most capable descender in the lot, but I felt comfortable on the bike, and I felt confident cornering. I felt I felt good going down some of the steeper sections on our test route. I didn't think it was bad at all, but I felt like it could have been better given how hefty it's got a kind of a more all mountain, it's got a distinctive all-mountain feel. It's not trying to cross any sort of boundaries. It's not trying to be more of a trail bike. This
Right.
is a full-on all-mountain enduro bike. You could even almost consider it a park bike, right?
I didn't feel playful on it. I didn't feel like I was...
That was my thing too.
Yeah, I just didn't feel playful. I just felt like I was riding it, and I could ride it fast, I could ride it effectively, but I wasn't playing around on it.
Yeah, I had the same kind of feeling. I was just I felt like I could go quick on the bike, and it would kind of just mob through anything. It felt like just kind of a tank, right? It had kind of some momentum and mass to it, and it just wanted to stick to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And the suspension is really supple, and so I feel like it just mobbed through stuff really well. However, yeah, handling in really tight stuff, not so much. I think it has its strengths and it has its weaknesses, and I don't know. Who's the best customer
where does this come
for
in
this
for?
bike?
What's the price point on this bike? Is it $3,600? Is that right?
3,800.
3,800.
So $3,800, which in this category is actually considered fairly affordable.
Yeah.
So if you're getting in and you just want to get into sort of all-mountain enduro, then this bike is up there. It's a fairly durable. It's a Northwest company. People don't think of Diamondback that way. They're from Washington. They're fairly robust. So yeah, I mean, price point for what it has on it,
Yes.
Sounds solid.
It's about right.
Yeah, but they have a model below and a model higher, do they not?
Right. Yeah, and you can get the base level model. I want to say is about $2,200. And but if you want to go above and get the EXA-1 1x drivetrain, it still comes with the Fox 34. It's more than $6,000. It's I believe $6,500, which is a
Seems a
really
little steep there.
which is a really because you're talking the same frame. It also has a Float X shock,
right.
but
Right.
yeah, it's a pretty big premium
Yeah.
to jump up the next level.
Yeah, I mean that's carbon prices.
Yeah, it is carbon prices, and it's the same aluminum frame with a different rear shock.
For someone that does like to pedal up a little slower, but likes to go fast, confidently downhill, but isn't super playful on the trails, perhaps.
Yeah,
There
you know, and then
Um,
the flip side of that longer chain stays, it does give the bike a little bit more
It's
stability.
confidence
so-
inspiring
Yeah.
aspect for sure.
That'd be a good bike for somebody who wants to ride like in the bike park, but also ride trails, and they only can have one bike.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like it's a good climber, it's a good descender, and it's a burly bike, and it's built to last.
Yeah.
You know, like the thing's not gonna break down when you put it on the back of a shuttle. It's built out of like, pretty solid aluminum,
Yeah.
and I think that it'd be a good like starter. I mean, it's kind of crazy to say that
A $3,800 bike is a starter.
bike, but I think it's a good starter bike for sure.
Oh, there you have it. If you want to know more about the Diamondback Mission Bike, check out Bike Magazine's Bible Bike Test issue. If you want to see more bike test videos, go to bikemag.com.